It's time to fight for our lives. This Iraqi army failed to fall back during our retreat. We made a critical mistake during our turn, and now we need to hold off a deadly Iranian offensive. So, we position our T-62s in a defensive manner. We also have our ATGMs back here around 2,000 meters out, which is their maximum effective range. So if you like military strategy, tactics, or doctrine, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe because this is definitely the channel for you. So let's do a quick battlefield analysis on why our units are positioned the way they are and how we're going to hold off this Iranian offensive. So over here, the enemy is going to be approaching down this main avenue, but they're also going to capture this territory over here on the right-hand side. We're going to have to sacrifice that area to them. We do not have the forces to man it. Ideally, it provides them with a lot of cover to flank us, so we should position tanks over here on this right-hand side. But due to our low morale, they would be too far from our commanders, and they'll just end up giving up. And there's too much cover, too much areas to be approached from, and it's just going to be a hard area to control. Ideally, we would want to position our forces over here, but we won't have any lines of sight to really counter an assault because we're being attacked on two fronts. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold them off with a bunch of mortar and artillery barrages. So right here, I've designated 3, 2, and 5 as choke points. These provide the enemy with significant cover. So I don't want the enemy piling in there, setting up ATGMs, chieftains getting into positions and having cover. Same right here, alongside these reverse slopes and berms. I don't want enemies being able to get into this position and setting up anti-tank weaponry. Same with this area. It looks like a good bottleneck, provides them with a lot of cover. So we're going to constantly bombard their back line where their anti-tank weapons, I'm assuming, are going to be. A lot of their long-range ATGMs, M113A1s with anti-tank weapons on them. We also have 2 crossing points right here. One right here and one right here. That's why we have significant levels target identifiers right here and a target right here. We also bombarding this area significantly because it provides the enemy with a lot of cover and areas to flank us from. Also, there's bushes right here. There's also several high-speed avenues of approach that we need to isolate. We have this choke point number 4. I have this marked as our 4th bombardment because that's going to give the enemy time to travel down this avenue, this road. They're going to be in heavy cover the whole time, but hopefully this artillery slows them down a bit, and as they come down this road, they'll get hit with any artillery, and it will slow their assault. Like I said, this right flank's pretty much a lost cause. Ideally, it looks like the enemy's approaching this main village, so we have that secured. All our tanks are positioned in a defensive manner. If we click on each one, we can do a quick overview of what they can see. We've been doing this at the beginning of each video. As you can see, this unit's in an ideal spot. They can provide fire cover over here on this road, so as enemy tanks or APCs approach that line, they have line of sight right there. Those have line of sight straight down this avenue, and actually where these 2 berms intersect, they can see that, so the enemy is not going to be able to build up forces right there. This area is going to be mortared. They also have line of sight on this left-hand side, so as the enemies approach across the field in a line formation, I'm assuming, because that's how they should go across this field. They should disperse their force so they can utilize their maximum firepower, because coming down these roads in a column is going to be a death sentence. So let's check our next tank. These T-62s have 115 millimeter cannons. They have significant ammo. We have armor penetration rounds. We have high explosive anti-tank, and we have general anti-tank. So we're pretty much armed to the teeth. Let's launch this battle. Our units are in position where they need to be. They're dug in. Ideally, we want to use an old Korean approach, which is the fight and roll. What that means is that as the enemy begins to overwhelm our position, we can do a strategic retreat while providing heavy fire and keeping the enemy at bay. As you can see, we have green smoke identifiers. That's the enemy notifying the AI over there that they're doing generic move or attack orders. We have 6 seconds until our first rounds start to fall. We're going to go witness that. We had a small enemy identifier over here on the backhand side. Like I said, that right flank, the north flank, northeast, is pretty much impossible for us to cover. We should see artillery fire. I believe it's MRLS systems, so multi-rocket launch systems, going to suppress the enemy as they cross this river. We still have no lines of sight on them, which is quite concerning. That I'm assuming they're positioned much further back, so that's not good for us. We also have no lines of sight on this right-hand side, which means our flank's completely exposed. See, that was one of our greater concerns. Oh, we're just a bit off. APC's in the middle. Tanks are firing. Rockets are still preparing. This unit has let loose several different types of weapons. He's really trying his hardest to hit that APC that he's now lost sight of. That round just skipped off the ground. This is not a perfect position. There we go. Identifier back up. Looks like it's a retreating. Artillery strikes are starting to fall. There's no enemy forces in this, and I'm not sure why. There we go. 24 rounds out. All right. Like I said, there's a lot of these heights. So it looks like the enemy's utilizing all this cover. Our forces really need to slow this assault. Our artillery is way off. It looks like they just funneled straight down this high-speed avenue of approach right down here in the middle. It looks like they're also funneling to this right-hand side, so by the time they get here, possibly mortar barrage number 4 is going to hit them. So this is actually a good learning experience. Vehicle down right there. ATGMs. So we should be able to outfire these chieftains. They have 120 millimeter guns, but they fire at a much slower rate. Chieftain down. Chieftain down. That's 2 in a row. Our ATGMs are doing absolute fantastic work. Oh my goodness. Is that 3 right here? 3 of their chieftains are down. APCs, M11A3s are eliminated. So we didn't... If this is going successfully... Oh no. That's not good. So we have a significant buildup of enemy forces right here. Chieftain down, so our Cold War tactics are definitely working. Since they need to approach us in an open field, we're definitely dug in. We're going to go do a quick battle assessment. Our ATGMs are doing fantastic right now. This unit right here is under heavy fire. These guys are actually significantly trained. This unit's engaging our units on the right-hand side. ATGM out. If this hits, it could easily eliminate this chieftain. These are shaped charges designed. There it goes. That's fantastic. This whole armor column right here, this first assault has been eliminated. As you can see, right flank secure. And now the enemy force needs to cross these these crossing points, which are under extreme heavy artillery fire. We cannot outrange these chieftains, which is unfortunate, but their accuracy should be bad enough that they can't engage us accurately. Let's take a look. All right. Like I said, they were going to try and utilize that choke point. They're targeting our commander. Ideally, we do not want this unit to be destroyed, and it also looks like he's abandoned his vehicle. No, he's in cover. Alright, so he's fallen out. We're definitely blunting this attack significantly. Like, right? And if we take a look at our penetration charts, we should easily be able to destroy this unit. See, from a wide variety of angles. We do not need specific dead-on hits. This unit's definitely in a good position. Has a lot of cover. And he's exposing our flank to us. We shouldn't deflect. Let's go get a good status report. Now we're kind of entering a bit of an attrition phase of this battle. Ideally, we aren't going to win this. We do have a lot of rounds. We fire off around 10 shots per minute is our maximum rate of fire. These units are under significant. Is that artillery fire? This unit's engaging that unit over there on the far right. The enemies are still making their way across the river. I think these are, if I'm going to speak accurately, probably just primarily infantry units. So how we're going to deal with them are these BDRMs as they cross these crossing points. These BDRMs can easily engage these infantries, as well as our T-62s have anti-infantry guns on them. Another rocket salvo out. There we go. Let's take a look. What salvo is this? Right, this is our choke point over here on the right hand side. Right, this unit's definitely going to fall. 22 rounds out. That was a bit off if that was a shot from our rocket. There it goes, another scouting round. Significantly slower. That's not good. We want a good sized salvo to come out, because if it's going to fire like that, we're not going to get through all of these in time. But it's slowing their attack. I mean, we've eliminated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chieftains. The Iranians are asking for a ceasefire. We want to continue to hold them off, and we're going to accept this right up here in around 5, 6 more seconds. I think we're in a good defensive position. Our morale's good. Let's do a quick ammo check on our units. We haven't used significant amounts of ammo. Ideally, we want to keep our ATGMs up. It looks like they're flashing, so they're possibly out of ammo. So as these chieftains or heavy tanks continue to approach us, we're going to be at a much larger disadvantage. We're not going to be able to fight them off. So we need to keep our ATGMs alive, and we need to resupply them so we can hold off this Iranian offensive. Here comes another rocket. Fire rate is much slower, so we need to make note of that for our next battle. Also, we need to make note that a large portion of the force started much further up. So during our last battle, we received a lot of ATGM fire from the back line. So we only lost 7% of our force, which is good compared to their 58%. So that was an absolutely bloody battle for them. Let's take a look at the map. Right? Our ATGMs did fantastic work on these tank columns. And we're talking like maximum 3 rate of fire per minute. So they each have 4 or 5 rounds. Easily eliminated. All these received 4 hits, burning. These aren't repairable by the enemy. They're also clustered up, which is quite confusing why they approached me in this manner. Same with this unit as well. So we never even had to initiate our tuck and roll strategy. Right, this unit looks like it was the 115 millimeter penetrated it, as well as the 125 ATGM rounds. The A113s or M113s A1s are completely destroyed. These are their troop transports. No crew of 8, all gone. Hits received 4. This right flank, which we were completely dreading, turned out to not be used at all by the enemy, other than a small force right here, which is something different. Looks like a recon unit. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks destroyed, 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks destroyed. This complete obliteration of the Iranian army, thanks to our Cold War tactics, as well as our overwhelming fire superiority and our utilization of heavy artillery fire. Anyway, leave a like, comment, and subscribe.